Hi, welcome back. Welcome to Help Me Help Mama live cast. So Doug's back today.
Doug's back
Yay!
today.
So both of us today. So today we're taking a few caregiver questions and answering your questions. Hopefully that's a clue. So please put your comments in the box below. Share this with somebody. Ask them to comment. Your fellow caregivers really appreciate that, and I notice y'all are doing a great job of that, and we appreciate it. So one of the things today, and this is always a popular topic, about taking a break. Caregivers, sometimes it's time to take a break. So Cindy was visiting with a caregiver this morning that took a break, right?
Yes, we had a support group meeting this morning, and that was the topic of discussion. How do you take a break? Because some of these people, is the ones that asked the one that asked that question is the wife, and I don't think she has ever taken a break. But she now has a granddaughter who is becoming involved in their lives, and the granddaughter will come over and ask Grandpa if he wants to go get ice cream. And she said he has
That's nice.
Yeah, and he cannot say no to ice cream. So
You can.
No, really. So granddaughter takes Grandpa and they go get some ice cream, and daughter takes Mom and they go somewhere else. So Mom got an hour and a half to go do errands that she needed to do. And I said, why? What was your hesitation? And she kind of looked down and she says, I feel guilty. You know, they've been married like 50 some years, and she feels guilty leaving him. So we talked about guilt. Some of the people felt guilty and others didn't. And so I thought, well, what does that mean? That's a choice. Do you think guilt is a choice?
Well, you know, I could see how people that it's I think it's kind of like the same deal you hear sometimes, like you know, multiple people in the car crash and someone gets killed and someone else don't get killed, and maybe the one that don't get killed feels guilty. As weird as that sounds, that they didn't get killed too. You know, why did somebody sitting right beside me get killed and I didn't? That's, I don't know why, but I mean, I could see that if your husband or wife is declining, and you know, yeah, I could see that where you would feel guilty about going out. I went out today and had some fun, and I feel bad about that. You know, so you shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't, but
you shouldn't. And here's why I think you shouldn't, is because you have to take care of yourself. Caregivers, they're the last ones that they take care of themselves last. I mean, think about it. You take care of your children, even if they're adults, and you're taking care of your loved one, either your spouse or your parent. You take care of everybody else but you. So you put you last. But it's like this morning I told them, I said, when you get on an airplane and the stewardess says, now if the oxygen masks drop down, I'm not kidding here, put the mask on yourself first. Because if you can't breathe, you can't help anybody else. You've got to stay alive. And think about it, if you got down, you got real sick, you had a heart attack, what would your loved one do? What would they do without you? That can happen very easily.
And we see that happen a lot.
We do.
We see that happen a lot, that the family caregiver does it and does it and does it and does it way longer than they should be doing it, and then they crash and burn, and then when that happens, they're both going to the hospital or the nursing home the same day. Sometimes the kids come in shocked, like something happened to Dad, and now Mom and Dad are both going to the nursing home like today.
Yeah, because who's going to step up and be caregiver for both of you now? That would be really big shoes to fill. So, yes, you will feel guilty. You're likely to feel guilty if you take a break. But you know what? It's okay.
And they wouldn't want you feeling guilty.
I don't think they would.
I mean, if they were at themselves, they wouldn't.
I really don't think they would. They want you to take care of yourself. And if you take care of yourself, you can take care of them. So I was surprised to hear that one of the caregivers in the support group took a 16-day trip out of the country, which we all talked about for 45 minutes because we wanted to see pictures and we wanted to hear all about it, and he deserved it. He has been an incredible caregiver.
I started to say he's been there like intensive in the pits for what?
Years. And his wife has been in a skilled facility for several years, but still daily he is an advocate for her.
And knowing her, she would not want him to feel guilty for doing it. Matter of fact, she would probably be upset that this is the first time he's done anything like that.
Absolutely. So find people around you that can take your place, even if it's only for an hour and a half. Start with family, then go to friends, to church members. The next step would be to hire a caregiver from one of these service providers. We've talked about how to find them on the internet, how to interview them to find out exactly what you want. And then, do you trust them? Well, if it's family, you feel pretty good that you can trust them. If you don't, then come back and check up on them, or put a camera in there where you can see what they're doing. You know, you've got ways to check up on your loved one if you feel you have to while another caregiver is caring for them. And get out and take some time for yourself.
And anymore, technology being as it is, I mean, it's easy to have, if you really think you need to have webcams in the house and monitors set up and different things. I mean, it would be hard to have a relaxing time away if you feel like you got to pull up the webcam every 10 minutes and check. But you may want to check periodically, a couple of times a day, just to make sure things is going good. In some situations, and like Cindy said, if you got good family members in there, you may not need to do that. And hopefully y'all can find someone to like fill in for you, to give you some time off, because you need it, and it's important to do this before you get to the point where you like need it, before you get to the point where you're just burnt totally out and can't do it another day, because at that point in time you may have health challenges, or your stress may have gotten to the point that after a day or two off you just think, I don't want to go back, and you don't want to get it to that point. You want to take breaks periodically. And I know saying this, some of you watching this saying, well, that's easy for you to say. And I know, yeah, it is easy for me to say. Sometimes it's easier said than done. Sometimes it's hard to find somebody to take your place. Some of you have situations where it's next to impossible to find someone to take your place, even for a couple of hours. But if you're in that situation, take what you can get, even if it is a couple of hours. That's much needed.
Another option is respite in an assisted living. Some of the assisted livings around here offer respite, which is you pay for your loved one to be able to stay there for a week or a few days, whatever it is that you have, whatever length that you want, and it gives you a break, gives you a chance to reclaim your health and get back into a different routine for a few days anyway. At least sleep for uninterrupted for 2 or 3 days. And not all assisted living offer that, but a lot of them do. So that is an option. One thing I wanted to mention, yesterday we talked about urinary tract infections and dementia patients, and I talked about the causes. The cause is it occurs because bacteria enters the urinary tract and it begins to multiply in the bladder. And this is why I know there were a couple of times that the doctor wanted Mom to drink cranberry juice, and she hated the taste of it. So we put a little sugar in there with it, and you can also water it down. At least they told her that. So urinary tract infection caused by infection, and you need to stay on top of that if you have a loved one with dementia.
So neither one of us are medical folks.
No.
So this
No,
this is just
but
our experience and what we've
we talked
read.
about that yesterday, and because my mom's temperature was just a little bit lower than normal, that really resonated with me, and I want you to be aware of that. If your loved one's core body temperature is just a little bit lower, and you're checking their temperature every day, if it goes up slightly, then you need to have that checked out.
Definitely get to a doctor or someone that can check it out, and that's just another thing among the many to be aware of. But in our practice here, it's something that even though it's fairly common, it's not like an unknown thing that no one's heard of. It's amazing how often that we see that this go undiagnosed and people just didn't spot it, or it gets to the point where it's bad
Their
and
behavior changes, and they end up in a geri psych ward, and they go, yeah, it was a UTI, and I'm going, okay, could have prevented that, if we caught it early. So
just something else to check on. But I think that's it for today.
Yes, take a respite. There are plenty of ways to do that. Bring in family, bring in friends, bring in paid caregivers. Do it for yourself. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. And we will see you again next time here on Help Me Help Mama livecast. Thanks for watching.